The film begins with a group of security vehicles transporting a dangerous prisoner to court. Moments before their arrival, the prisoner appears fearful and terrified. Haley, the leader of the security group, stops the cars and tries to calm the prisoner down and reassure him that he will be fine. Afterwards, they continue on their way, but when they arrive, Haley escorts the prisoner carefully because a group of protesters is trying to confront the prisoner, indicating that the prisoner is accused in a public opinion case. At the same time, we see Motti, who is a dangerous and very smart gang leader, standing close to the place. Moments later, a person suddenly appears and shoots the prisoner unexpectedly, killing him instantly. Afterwards, Motti leaves, and from what happened, we deduce that the prisoner was killed by the gang so that he would not confess to anything. After that, we see a bearded prisoner in prison named Zayed, who was imprisoned after he killed 3 people who had killed his brother. Zayed has a status in prison, and everyone fears him in the block he is located in, and that appears when he watches a group of prisoners trying to assault a new prisoner, so he goes and saves him from them and invites him to play chess with him, without anyone speaking or opposing him. After that, we learn that Zayed has a child outside named Noah, as his pictures in Zayed's cell indicate that Zayed misses him dearly and wishes to see him. After that, one of the guards comes and tells Zayed that his father came to visit him, so he goes with the guard and is surprised by Haley waiting for him. She tells him that she is from the security police and shows him pictures of Motti and tells him that Motti runs a dangerous and powerful gang, and he is a very dangerous person and a smart leader. She offers Zayed to be a spy in the gang in exchange for granting him freedom. Zayed refuses and reminds her of the prisoner who was killed by the gang while he was in her hands and tells her that she cannot protect him. Haley tries to convince Zayed and tells him that she knows how strong and smart he is and that he has experience in gang matters and it is not difficult for him, and she chose him because he is the only one capable of stopping the gang. Zayed refuses and leaves. After that, the guard comes and asks Zayed to prepare himself to be transferred to another block as they transfer him to the most dangerous block, which is the gang's block, in an attempt to pressure him by Haley. Afterwards, we watch a group of prisoners entering Zayed's cell and searching through his belongings. Zayed tries to stop them. They grab him and threaten him with all fierceness. Then they leave. Afterwards, Zayed speaks with his ex-wife, where he tries to speak with Noah, his son, on his birthday night, but Noah refuses to speak, and Zayed keeps trying to speak until the call is disconnected. After this situation, Zayed begins to think about what Haley said to him, and that there is a chance to get out and see his son Noah, who does not know him. Afterwards, he requests to meet Haley and tells her that he accepts the offer she presented to him on the condition of his release and not assigning him to other operations. Haley agrees to that and tells him that his first step is to get close to a man present in the prison in the gang's block, and through him he will reach the gang, and he must catch his attention and make him trust him. After that, Zayed gets out of prison and goes to a house he recently rented. He meets a young man named Didi, who is his neighbor in the same building. Before getting out of prison, Zayed was able to confront 3 men from the gang and killed them all. This matter made Adil, the man whom Haley asked Zayed to get close to, meet with Zayed and order him to execute a mission so that they would agree to him joining them, as they ask him to kill a prisoner. Despite Zayed's hesitation to kill anyone, he has no choice, so he goes and executes the operation and succeeds in that. Now Zayed is out of prison in his new apartment. He goes to his ex-wife, who is surprised to see him. Zayed tells her that he came to see his son, Noah, whom he has only seen in pictures. However, his wife, who is pregnant from her new husband, tells him that Noah is not ready for that. Zayed insists, so they agree that he sees him from afar. Indeed, Zayed sees him and looks at him with all longing from afar while he is playing football. After that, Jimmy, a member of the gang, calls Zayed and tells him that he is coming. Moments later, a car arrives and Zayed gets in with them. Suddenly, one of the men sitting in the back strangles Zayed while Jimmy threatens him and says to him, "A doctor like you, what is his purpose in joining us?" He tells him that he will investigate him, and if he learns about anything, he will kill him. Then they drop him off the car in the middle of the road and leave. Later, Zayed meets Hailey in a museum to tell her that the gang contacted him and that they will investigate him. She tells him that no one knows he is an agent except for her only. Even the rest of the police forces think he is a member of the gang. Zayed realizes that his mission is difficult, especially after learning that the police units do not know about him. Healy gives him wiretapping and location tracking devices. After that, Zayed returns home and tries to put the wiretapping devices under his clothes. Moments later, Jimmy knocks on his door and asks him to come down quickly. Zayed goes down and Jimmy takes him to their place, where they search him before he enters and find nothing. When he enters, he finds one of the gang members injured in his leg by a bullet. They ask him to treat him since he is a former doctor. Zayed asks them all to go out. Jimmy gets angry and threatens Zayed, but Motti, the gang leader, very calmly asks them to leave, so they go out. Zayed begins to extract the bullet and succeeds in that because he was previously a surgeon and was banned from practicing the profession. Motti admires Zayed, as the injured member was his younger brother, and because Zayed saved him, Motti drives him back in his car. gives him an amount of money, and offers him to work with them. Zaid agrees to that, and thus he became among their ranks. After that, Zaid goes to his ex-wife's house and meets his son, Noah. He gives him a football and tries to get close to him, but Noah does not interact with him and leaves to his room. However, Zaid goes to his room and talks to him a little in an attempt to make him accept his presence with him.
After that, Mavi, along with Zaid and all the gang members, Zaid discovers that his neighbor Didi is one of Mavi's men and works with him in distributing contrabands. They meet with another gang.
Motti and the leader of the other gang, Booba, talk about the events that happened between the two gangs recently, as the second gang had targeted Motti's younger brother and they were the ones who shot him.
Motti discusses with the gang to solve the problem. Booba threatens them, and the voices of both gangs rise, but Motti is smart and excels at controlling himself. Afterward, they leave.
Motti's younger brother blames him because they did not take revenge on Booba and his gang. Motti shouts at him and silences him. After that, Motti tells Zaid that he has a mission for him, and Zaid agrees to that. Later, Jimmy warns Zaid against failing the mission and says to him, "If you fail, I will punish you myself." Zaid goes where he finds a truck filled with bouquets of flowers. One of the men tells him to take his bouquet after 3 minutes. When Zaid goes out, armed men arrive and manage to take the bouquet, which contains the contrabands, from him, and then they leave. Before that, Zaid was able to place the location tracking device under one of their cars, and he managed to track them through the location tracking. He went there alone and asked to see Booba because he knew that he was the one who did it. Booba mocks him and says to him, "Are you crazy? Who do you think you are to come to me alone?" Zaid asks him to return the goods. One of the men approaches to strangle Zaid from behind, but Zaid hits him, manages to grab Booba, take his weapon, and threaten him. Booba orders his men to surrender. Zaid goes out with Booba, but later Booba escapes from him, so Zaid flees with difficulty after taking the contrabands. However, Booba's men shoot at the motorcycle that Zaid rode, so it explodes. Before they reach him, he gets into a woman's car and asks her to move quickly, and thus he succeeds in escaping from them. After that, Zaid returns and tells Motti what happened and gives him the goods. Motti says to him, "Do you think I believe this?" Zaid draws Booba's weapon and hands it over to Motti.
Motti looks at him with admiration and tells him that he was confident in his choice of him. After this event, Zaid's status in the gang rises. Later, he goes to meet his son Noah and speaks with him for a little bit.
Noah tells his father that he knows that evil people are the ones who are in prison and asks his father about his crime. Zaid remains silent and does not answer him. After that, Zaid meets Didi, who asks him for help because some people took the contraband from him and did not pay its price. Zaid goes, teaches them a lesson, and takes the money. After that, Zaid meets Haley, who tells him that Boba and his man are looking for him, and he must be careful of that. Zaid tells her that he is working with a gang, recruiting youth to sell contraband, and spending his time with gang members instead of spending time with his son. She tells him, "There is little left. We must gather a lot of evidence." He hands her the recordings of the last 14 days and leaves. Later, Motti asks him for another mission, where he accompanies Nashar, and with them is Didi. They go to collect money from the commercial shops under their control. And when they come out of one of the shops, suddenly 2 people appear, showering them with bullets. Nashar dies instantly. Zaid pulls Didi and they both flee inside the market, while the 2 men continue shooting at them. Haley was monitoring everything that was happening and enters the market. Inside, Zaid asks Didi to escape from the back door and then he will follow him. Didi goes. Zaid prepares to face the men, but suddenly Haley appears carrying her weapon and she says to him, "Leave from here," and that she will handle the matter. Didi had not left yet, so he sees Zaid speaking with Haley, which means that Zaid's matter is about to be exposed. After what happened, we return to Motti as he watches a video of one of Booba's men being tortured by his men. Zaid is close to him and watches the video as well. Moments later, Zaid hears one of the gang members talking to his colleague, telling him that there is a spy and that the female police officer's presence at the scene of the incident was not a coincidence. He also tells his colleague that they found a transmitter device in Motti's car. At this moment, Zaid realizes that it is only a matter of time before he is exposed. When he is about to leave, Motti stops him and asks him to come with him. They go to an isolated place that looks like an interrogation room, accompanied by Jimmy and Rashid, who are Motti's men. Zaid is anxious and thinks they brought him to interrogate him, but Motti suddenly hits Rashid and knocks him to the ground, while Jimmy grabs him and they begin torturing him, asking Zaid to hold him down. They pour boiling water on his hand until he confesses. He tells them that Booba threatened to kill his mother, which forced him to inform him about the time and location of the contraband shipment. Afterward, they go out with Rashid, who is covered in blood.
Motti says goodbye to him, and they take him in a car to execute him later.
Later, Zaid meets Hailey and tells her what happened, informing her that Motti killed Rashid and that he will not continue with this work.
However, when Zaid insists on withdrawing, Hailey threatens him that she possesses evidence against him while he was transporting the contrabands, and she can keep him in prison for 10 years if he withdraws.
Thus, he is forced to complete the mission. Returning to Motti, he meets with Didi and tries to find out what happened with them when he and Zaid were together. Didi tries to keep quiet about the matter, but Motti soon pressures him to speak, so he confesses that the police talked to Zaid, did not arrest him, and let him go. At the same time, we see Zaid with his son Noah at the amusement park, where Noah started to accept his father's presence and get used to him, and his relationship with him improved. While they are returning on their way, a car approaches and starts shooting at them, but Zaid slows down, rams the car from behind, and survives with his son. Zaid tells his son that he will come back to see him, while internally knowing that he might not see him again, and tells him that he loves him. After that, his mother arrives, terrified after seeing the bullet marks on their car, takes Noah, and leaves.
Later, Zaid returns to his apartment and finds it destroyed. He goes out while talking to Hailey, telling her that they destroyed his apartment and shot at him and his son.
Before he can finish, he receives a blow from behind by the gang's men, so he falls to the ground and they grab him. They take him to an unknown place, tied to a chair.
Motti tells him on the phone that after finishing with him, he will go to his wife and his son to get rid of them.
Zaid breaks down and begs him, saying to him, "The matter is between you and me. They have nothing to do with it." Motti hangs up the phone. Zaid breaks down while Jimmy prepares to interrogate, then get rid of Zaid.
Zaid tries to break free from his restraints and succeeds in that. He overcomes them after a fierce fight, despite his injury, and because of his love and attachment to his family. After the fight, he gets into a car and goes to the gang's place. He begins killing the men and shouts for Motti. A group of young gang members intercepts him, but they are afraid of him. He forces them to drop their weapons and leave. He enters and does not find Motti. He sees a picture of his son, Noah, which is stained with blood. Suddenly, Motti appears and shoots him. He gets injured and falls, but he does not die. Suddenly, Didi appears and threatens Motti with a weapon in defense of Zaid. Motti asks Didi to back down from that. Zaid takes advantage of the situation and shoots Motti, so he kills him. Then, he and Didi leave the place. He thanks Didi and asks him to go to his house and not return to these places again, and the movie ends. Admiration, a like, and a comment, and we will meet in the next recap.